Good morning, dear students. Today we'll start the part 6 of chapter life processes. Okay, up to part 5 we have completed the stomach. Okay, we have studied in detail what is the different function of the stomach. Okay, what the substance which is contained in the stomach. Now next is the small intestine. Next part of alimentary canal is small intestine. Okay, next part is small intestine. Okay, now small intestine, we know that the after the after stomach there is a zigzag canal. Okay, or you can say a zigzag pipe-like structure which is known as small intestine. See, this part is known as small intestine. Small intestine. Okay. Now, after the stomach, here we have seen that from here and here, this part is known as common duct. Common duct. Why it is known as common duct? Because from here and here, the enzymes enters, which is known as the bile juice. Okay, from the left hand side, the bile juice enters, and from here, the enzyme pancreatic amylase, trypsin, and lipase comes, or we can say enter into the small intestine. Okay. Now, the small intestine contains three parts. The first part stands for D, that is duodenum. Second part up to this is known as jejunum, and the third part, that means this part, is known as ileum. Okay, as we have seen in last lecture, there are three parts of small intestine: duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Now, in small intestine, when the food enters, the enzymes bile juice, okay, which is also known as digestive juice, the enzyme pancreatic amylase, trypsin, and lipase enters into the small intestine, and the most part of our food is digested in the small intestine. The question can be among the following, or the MCQ like question would be there, among the following, in which part of alimentary canal the most of the digestion occurs? That means the answer would be small intestine. Okay, now small intestine contains three parts, that is duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Now, in small intestine, most of the food is digested. Why? Okay, because it is curled structure. It is curled in structure. Okay. Now, first question is, why small intestine is known as small intestine? Because small intestine is known as small intestine because its diameter is very less. Okay, diameter is less, but its length of small intestine is 6 to 7 meter. Okay, 6 to 7 meter in length. The small intestine length is 6 to 7 meter, but its diameter is very small. Okay, therefore it is known as small intestine. Okay, now what is the benefit, okay, for the diameter is less? Okay, if the diameter of small intestine is less, there is a benefit. And what is the benefit? See, if the diameter of small intestine is less, and we can see the pathway for the food digestion in the small intestine is curled in part. That means food have to cover the more surface area. Food have to cover the more surface area. So, if the food have to cover the more surface area, that means the more digestion will take place in the small intestine. That means most of the digestion will take place in the small intestine. Okay. Now, small intestine have some finger-like projections which are known as villi. That means the next topic after the small intestine will be absorption. Okay, will be absorption of the food. Now see, most of the digestion is completed in the small intestine. That means we can say that the digestion of food is finished on or in the small intestine. Now absorption of food. Okay, absorption of food. The next topic you can see the absorption of food. Okay, absorption of food. Okay. Now, if the food is digested, that means the minerals, minerals, vitamins, and important substance which is essential for our body, that will be absorbed by the finger-like projection in a small intestine, and that finger-like projection is known as villi. You can see here there would be a finger-like projections. Okay, and that finger-like projection we can see they would be like this, and there would be small hairy structures. Okay, these finger-like structures are known as villi, and this hairy structure will be known as microvilli. Okay, now when the food will travel through this pathway, the microvilli will absorb the important or essential parts of our food, and they will supply to the blood vessel. Here there will be blood vessels. Okay, the food or the essential substance which is absorbed by the microvilli will supply to the blood vessels, and through the blood it will transfer to the cells, or we can say it will transfer to the body cell. Therefore the cell will utilize the energy, okay, or the cell will utilize that food and convert it into the energy which will be stored for the future use. Okay, in daily life the cell will use the energy which is absorbed by the food, and some of the energy is stored which will be used for the future use. Okay, so this is known as the absorption of food. Clear? Now next is assimilation. What is assimilation? Next is assimilation. When the body cell absorbs the food which is transferred by the blood vessels, okay, which is transported by the blood vessels, the body cell will absorb the food, and that food is used for our daily activities and for the future use, and the remaining food is the amount of remaining food which is stored in the cell is known as, and that process is known as assimilation, or you can define the assimilation as the amount of energy which is stored by the body cell for our future uses is known as assimilation. Clear? Now, and one more thing, by the energy which is absorbed by the cell, by that energy only we can do the various activities of our day-to-day life. Clear? Then next part of the alimentary canal is known as the large intestine. Next part of the alimentary canal is known as large intestine. See, large intestine structure we can see the large intestine would be start from here. Now large intestine would connect here, okay. See, as we know that this is the ileum of small intestine, as we know that it is ileum of the small intestine. Okay, now this ileum will connect into the first part of the large intestine, which is known as will be known as ileocecal wall. Okay, ileocecal wall. Now, the first part of the large intestine is known as cecum. The next part will be colon, and the final part is known as rectum. Okay, final part is known as rectum, and the final end point from where the digested food is excreted from our body is known as anus. Okay, now see, large intestine. This is the large intestine. Large intestine comprises of three parts, that is cecum, colon, and rectum. Now the last part of the small intestine is known as ileum, and the first part of large intestine is known as cecum. So from ileum and cecum, the combined name will be ileocecal wall. Okay, ileocecal wall. Okay, ileocecal wall. This wall is known as ileocecal wall. Now one more thing, there is a vestigial structure which is present at large intestine. There is a vestigial structure which is present at large intestine. It is known as vermiform appendix. Vermiform appendix. Okay. Now what is the function of vermiform appendix? See, now at the present time, the function of vermiform appendix is not in use. That means it is not in use. It is the vestigial part of our alimentary canal. The question can be, what is the vestigial part of our alimentary canal? That means it will be vermiform appendix. Now the question arises, if it is a vestigial part of our alimentary canal, then why it is present? Okay, why it is present in the alimentary canal? So during ancient time, we know that our ancestors was consuming the grass, okay, and grass containing the cellulose, and cellulose is a very complex material that can be digested only by the vermiform appendix. So at the ancient time, during ancient time, when they were consuming the grass, and the grass was containing cellulose, and the cellulose is a complex material that can be digested by only vermiform appendix. Okay, now it is of no use. Now at present time, there can be an infection in the vermiform appendix, and that is known as appendix. Okay, if there is an infection in the vermiform appendix, then we can feel pain in our stomach. Okay, so doctors cut the vermiform appendix by operation, which is known as appendix operation. Okay, if the doctor cuts the vermiform appendix, it will have no effect on our digestive system. Clear? Now see, large intestine contains three parts: cecum, colon, and rectum, and the main function of large intestine is only the absorption of water. You can say the digestion complete on the small intestine, but the absorption of water will take place in only large intestine. Okay, the only function of large intestine to absorb the water, and the digested food will travel to the large intestine, and all the water will be absorbed, and the rest of the part which is not useful, that will be excreted from our body through the last part of our alimentary canal, which is known as the anus. Clear? So this was all about the human digestive system. I hope you have understood. You can see the diagram. So this was all about the human digestive system. In next video, we'll see the human respiratory system. Clear? So that was all about today's lecture. Thank you.